By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Get him. Get him.
Hey adventurers, this is Glaiza from Classical Adventures for One, where we explore fictional books from the past with a little bit of drama and a whole lot of trivia. You're listening to 20 Tim Minutes.
Glaiza, thank you so much for that introduction. Her podcast is very lovely, great voice, great storytelling. She should be a voice actor, and I'm not just saying that because she's my friend. And yes, met her on Twitter, another friend. Episode 34 of 20 Tim Minutes. I am your host, Tim McCarthy. You know the deal. It's a mental health podcast that focuses on mental health through humor, insight, and personal stories. Glaiza, thank you again. Just a heads up, real quick, I'll do my little spiel in the beginning. I started doing 20 Tim Minutes live on my other account. So if you go to my Buy Me a Coffee page, you will see where you can sign up and pay for the year, and you can see me live. So whoever's watching me live, which is zero, welcome. So last week I had Tony Grebmeyer on an interview, and we talked about his Be Fulfilled journal, which is great. Awesome thing to have where you can try to better yourself and do all that fun stuff. Sorry, I got a call mid-episode. If you want one of these, he sent me a shit ton of them. I will give you one for free $99. Just tell somebody about 20 Tim Minutes and I'll get it to you. But thank you, Tony G. Everyone really liked that interview. This week coming up, I have Jimmy Jacobs, former ROH wrestler, former WWE writer. He has a lot of great stories from the road, from the biz. He has a very scary spot where he got dropped on his head in a power bomb. If you don't know what a power bomb is, Google it. It's fantastic. But let's get that out of the way. Thank you so much, guys, for rocking with me. Now, on to the show. All right. Been pretty bumming lately. I had a good week. It was 4th of July just recently. Hung out with some friends. Had some good times. Doing some more things out of my comfort zone. Seeing people I don't really see. And doing things by myself. Getting out in the world, you know? So very proud of myself finally doing things like that, because I always have like social anxiety where I go anywhere and I just think everyone's staring at me, not because I'm beautiful, but because I don't know why. And that's how anxiety works. When I record my episodes, I have a mirror behind it, and I'm not vain, but I just like look at it because I see my reflection so I can see if the camera lines up with everything. And by the by, I hung up my news article Lindsay made me, so appreciate that. But I feel like this weekend was a good reset to get back in the swing of things. I'm trying to get back in shape. My weight has been fluctuating just because I'm not eating properly, sleeping properly, and just kind of stressed out and not doing too hot, but I could be way better. But I'm not as bad as I used to. And that's where I compare everything in my life, where it's not as bad as it used to, so it can only get better. But yeah, being out of my comfort zone, and I'm just resetting my buttons this weekend. I went all out. Don't really booze, don't even really get drunk anymore, but I had a lot of fun. And now it's back to the grind, back to work this week. I have a brand new opportunity coming up, which doesn't have anything to do with the podcast, just my personal life. So pray for your boy on that one. I'm not into praying really, but if you pray, I like getting them because they're free and they're lovely. So I don't judge who you are and what you want to give me. Give me all the smoke. So I've been like letting people down pretty recently, and one of my new friends I made on the podcast, they've been trying to like call me, and I'm not avoiding this person on purpose. A lot of people have been calling me. I just let it ring. I just don't have it in me to have conversations. And I don't know why, because I'm usually very vocal with a lot of people. I think I'm more of a texter, but that's no excuse. When people call, I should be answering the phone, even though I am not a huge fan of it sometimes. Working as my job, which I don't talk about, I do a lot of phone conversations. So it's kind of like the last thing I want to do. But again, I'm not making excuses. I have to be better. I got to stop letting people down. And yeah, you can just tell I'm not doing too hot lately. I look at my face. I actually got some sleep last night. I don't know what to do. I got some new anxiety meds it's funny, the person that just I've been letting down just texted me. I just saw her. That's funny. So I got some new anxiety meds. I forget the hydrorizine. Oh yeah, I think I talked about this. It's an antihistamine. Don't know what the fuck that means. So I already did talk about that, but that made me really drowsy when I took it. And I was just like, I felt like I was just like insane. I was like, But being on Adderall, Lamictal, and now this word I can't pronounce is a treat, I guess, you know? Doctors are funny. I always said this, like, why do people want to do good in life? Like, I should be like not surprised by this. Someone woke up and they're like, you know what? I want to be a doctor. I want to be like a clinician. I want to be this and that. Like, I just want to help people. It's like I'm not against like helping people. I like helping people too, but people that like do all that schooling, like just want to be what they want to be, like I commend them. Like I was telling my therapist about this. It's like she wanted to become a therapist. No one told her to. Like she wanted to do that. And it's kind of funny just that I just think everyone has that negativity in them and they don't. And they just, I just think the worst. Not about them. It's just like, we should be thankful for how many good things are there in the world, especially good people. It's just like, we didn't like, that's awesome. I feel like a weed head right now. I'd be like, dude, isn't it fucking cool that like people are nice and like want to help? It's just really cool. And I feel like it's like underappreciated thinking that thought process with how that works. And I think it's so remarkable. And yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests like what to talk about on the episode. And there's a lot of things I don't know about, and people ask for suggestions. So I think we should just dive into something that I don't know about. And I went down a deep, dark like dive on this, and it was pretty funny. So borderline personality disorder, they call it BPD. At first, I thought BPD was bipolar disorder, which it's not. I actually don't know what the anagram. I think it's like BP. I don't even know. See, I don't know. I'm not smart. But BPD is borderline personality disorder. It's very confusing. Because there's multiple disorders because I was like thinking, I was like, what is borderline personality disorder? Because you're borderline, like, so there has to be a line. And I had to Google it. I'm Googling right now because I didn't write it down. So I'm going to read it. I'm not going to be fucking boring with it. Like, hey, I'm going to read stuff for today. I'm not Glaiza. Go check out Glaiza. It's a mental disorder characterized by unstable moods, behavior, and relationships. The cause of borderline personality disorder is not understood. Diagnosis is made on symptoms. It includes emotional instability, feelings of worthlessness, insecurity, impulsivity, and impaired social relationships. It's one of those things that borderline personality disorder, it's like the way their thought is and the way they act. I don't know how they go get help unless someone tells them to go get help. Because I feel like if you have BPD, you don't really know. Like I feel like you would like play that off like, oh, nothing's wrong with me. And that's got to be super tough. I remember Tom Rudd was talking about it, one of my previous interviews, and he was explaining it pretty well if you want to go back and listen to that. It's very intriguing to me because I wouldn't say it's popular, but I feel like a lot of people have it amongst the mental health lifestyle. It's just a lifestyle, man. Mental health illnesses. Wear it. Sell a t-shirt with it on. But so I went down this hole. There's like 10 different personality disorders. I didn't know that. Did you? Talking like it's Blue's Clues right now. What mental disorder can I see now? And just stop and wait for someone to answer. That must have been a cool job. Remember Steve? The original Steve on Blue's Clues? I was at that age where like I was getting older, so like Nick Jr. wasn't for me, but I would always like turn on Blue's Clues and just see if I still had it with picking things out. I'm like, there's Blue behind you. He's hiding. Then they got like new Steves. Then like someone said Steve died. And then I think he was part of a band called like the Dust Mites. I do not know how I know this. I don't think it's the Dust Mites. Look it up. Get it back to me. I'll get you a be-fulfilled journal if you're right and I'm wrong. But shout out Blue's Clues. Steve, holler at your boy. I should get him on the podcast. That'd be sick. I'm like, hey, how was your mental health talking to a green screen for 9 years? Stevie. I might be Steve for Halloween. I wonder how he's doing, honestly. But so there's like 10 of them. And then I went on the Mayo Clinic, not a mayonnaise website. It is Mayo Clinic. I said it wrong. If you're from Massachusetts, there's this thing called Mass Eye and Ear, where it's a doctor's office for your eyes and ear. For probably about 15 years, I thought eye and ear was a word. Mass IENARE. I thought it was like a made up word for that hospital, and it is not. It is Mass Eye and Ear. How fucking dumb can you be? This guy. So they put it into different clusters, cluster A, B, and C, and there's a lot of I'm not going to go into each one. I think you should, because I'm not doing your homework. But if you're interested in this, I think it's super interesting how many there are. And I think by the names of them, you would know. So cluster A is a personality disorder characterized by odd, eccentric thinking and behavior. They include paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, and schizotypical personality disorder. So those are the three. I don't know if they're in like order of worst to best, but I don't like when people do that when it's like, oh, your mental health is like worse than mine. Again, the whole TikTok debate where it's like a fad to have mental health illness, and they're like, you don't have OCD. I got OCD. I organize my books by color and numbers. It's like, it's not a contest and everyone's different. The other guy that has bipolar 2 and takes different meds, not me, has a whole different life, whole different lifestyle. His meds are probably different. So if you compare your mental health, fucking stop. Cluster B, it's a personality disorder characterized by dramatic, overly emotional, unpredictable thinking and behavior. They include antisocial, disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic history personality disorder. It's like you just can't get over history, but that's not it. I'm not making fun of it. And then narcissistic personality disorder. I always know what narcissistic meant because if you know that I'm a World Wrestling Federation fan, Lex Luger was the narcissist Lex Luger in WWF, and he would come out with a bunch of mirrors, and he would like look at himself. So I always knew what narcissistic meant. And I wasn't a huge Lex Luger fan. Like I know he body slammed Yokozuna, but that's all he was good for. He was supposed to win the strap, and then like this guy is blander than chicken with no seasoning. Chicken. I love chicken. Have you seen that video? The kid at the Chick-fil-A line, and they're like, "What are you having fun?" He's like, "Well, it's chicken. It's fried chicken." And he's like 10 years old, but he's going on like 50. I'll post that. That's a great one. Maybe I'll clip it right now.
Well, I'm here in the freezing cold getting free chicken sandwiches because the food tastes great. I mean, it's chicken. It's fried chicken. I like fried chicken.
Just kidding. I don't know if I clipped it. Sorry for the people on Spotify, or Spotify, as Chicago Tony V says. And then there's cluster C, which are characterized by anxious, fearful thinking or behavior. They include avoidant, dependent, and obsessive compulsive personality disorder. I think that's super interesting. I did not know there was multiple. I thought borderline personality disorder was just like one thing. And then like the whole borderline word, I was like, well, there's a fucking line. So there's got to be like a personality disorder. And yeah, there is a handful of them. There's this book, and I don't recommend anyone that's not a professional to buy this book, but it was always interesting. I learned about it. It's called the DSM-5. I don't know if you heard about this, but don't buy it and like try to figure yourself out. It's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, 5th edition. It's a manual for assessment and diagnosis of mental disorders and does not include information or guidelines or treatment for any disorder, but I think it gives you the signs for it. It was used by the healthcare professionals to guide the diagnosis of mental health disorders by the APA, not the Acolyte Protection Agency, but the American Psychiatric Association. I think that's very interesting to me. Like, obviously, there's books to learn about certain things, but I see a lot of healthcare professionals and like clinicians and clinical workers using it. And they're always like, let me reference that real quick, because I always have questions from my friends and close friends that can help me out. But again, borderline personality disorder. And it's not like they can figure it out because they just base it off your genes. It may be passed on to you by your parents through inherited genes. The traits are sometimes called your temperament. And then your environment, which includes your surroundings you grew up in, events that occurred. Jesus Christ, I can't speak. The other day, they were like, oh, what books do you read? I was like, I don't read books. I can barely read. I can say the words and put a sentence together. I can't retain it. I go back and listen to my old episodes so I can learn. Then I forget. I'm an audiobook guy. I got that Beastie Boys book. I haven't finished it. Super fucking long. I referenced that in my first episode, one of the quotes in that. And then I was doing Greenlight by Matthew McConaughey. He reads the book. It is awesome. He's an interesting cat. I love Matthew McConaughey. All right. Everyone always does that. Be a lot cooler if you did. Everyone loves Dazed and Confused. If you don't love Dazed and Confused, shut this off. Yeah, your environment has to be a huge part of that. where like things just trigger you. Like me, I go from point A to point B and point C gets in the mix. Oh, forget about it. I am a fucking rude dude with an attitude. I do not like that whatsoever, but I'm trying to get better with that. The thing with my meds is because I work overnights, I'm supposed to take it twice, and it's 200 milligrams of Lamictal. I should take it in the morning and night, but sometimes I fucking forget, and it's not like I'm trying to forget, obviously, but it's so tough to keep up with meds. That's why I was so against meds for the longest time, because I can't keep up with them. Like, same with vitamins. I have one of those, like, old people, like, Monday through Sunday pill bottles. Don't even use it. It's, like, gross. And then, like, I get all these pills. I don't even know what they do because I just read the label. One point, I was eating garlic, like a garlic pill. Went to work, talked to somebody, and they're like, "Did you eat garlic?" I'm like, "I ate a pill." Like, "Your breath stinks." I go, "Okay, I'm going to stop this." Like, my fucking... we got my boy Billy in the live feed. Get on the live feed, people. Again, buy me a coffee. That's what it is. Not a lot of money. I just need help. I want to buy a new laptop. That's what it is. It's they're expensive. Don't really have much money. I put a lot of money into this podcast, which I'm not complaining about. You got to spend money to make money. You bird, you know how it is. And also, my left eye has been twitching for like a month. They say it's like dehydration, which might be the case. But the guy at my work was like, "Oh no, I think that's good luck." And I was like, "Well, that's great." And he's like, "Let me call my mom." He's like, "No, that's bad luck." And I go, "Oh, thanks. I would have been okay with you not telling me that." So if your eye is twitching, drink some water and expect the worst, because that's what I'm doing. So where the fuck was I going with any of this? I was talking about personality support. Oh yeah, your environment, and it's like the things surrounding you, and you can't like let the outside affect you too much. It's so fucking hard. I let so many things affect me, and I hate it. And I get so fucking pissy. If I have to shit, get sleep, or be hungry, don't even talk to me. I'm going beeline for whatever I need, especially a shit. Oh my God, there's nothing worse than like having like a quick, I gotta poop. And you have the digestive pyrotechnics and your stomach's just like, and you're like, I gotta go. And then you do the high step with your hand behind your butt, like your hand's gonna stop the poop from coming out. You can't do that. My cat is currently throwing up behind me. I don't know why I told you that, but I feel like it's a thing because I am in the hot ass cat closet. But yeah, I don't know. It's just been, I feel like a lot of people are like in this weird mode from like what I'm seeing online. And I just really just want to be happy, like really fucking happy. And I don't like know how to get there right now. And it's like just stress and just like overthinking everything. It's like, what do I want to do? It's fucking tough. I talk to my therapist every week now. It used to be every 3 weeks. We went down to every 2 weeks. And at this point, I think she's going to just call me every day. And we do like the Zoom thing. I made her laugh because I think I brought this up. But again, there's people that don't listen to my former episodes, so I'm sorry. But there was that meme of like Zoom calls. It's like, why do we wave like it's the Titanic when we're hanging up? So I'm always just like about to break my arm when I'm waving to her. But I love my therapist. I tell her all the time. She's so proud of me of like how far I came. And it's very hard to like, for me, if you guys know me, it's like hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm proud of myself. And then I do the Barry Horowitz pat on my back. Former jobber turned wrestler. And yeah, I just got to find like what makes me super happy. Like the podcast makes me happy. I just need to find like something. And the podcast has been doing great. I have a lot of good interviews. I have Jimmy Jacobs coming up this week. I have a lot of people in the works. It's great, but I think the podcast, when you're doing it by yourself, even for fucking 20 minutes, it's so exhausting. So when people like try to reach out, like during it, I'm just like editing everything, doing the YouTube. And it's a lot. And I can't complain because I like doing it. And there's a lot of things that I tried to take up. And with bipolar 2, someone said the other day I might have bipolar 1. And I was like, I don't think you're a doctor. Did you read the DSM-5? And I take up a lot of things. I usually give up on them if I don't start doing good. And now people are like reaching out to me like I'm a pro. And it's kind of funny. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just faking it till I make it. But I appreciate you thinking I'm good enough. And like jujitsu is a thing I took a break from because I can't really afford it right now. And this ain't a fucking sob story, all right? I'm just telling you how my brain works. And so that was another thing I never really gave up on. I would just take time off for a little bit from like little injuries or if I'm too busy because right now I'm doing the podcast, so I don't really have time to go. So I got to be better with my money, which is a huge problem with me. Like impulse spending is a very bipolar trait, which is so fucking weird. Like how is that like a downloadable feature in your brain? Be like, hey, you know what? You're going to buy a bunch of dumb shit. Sorry, manage your money better. So I don't even know. All these traits are fucked. Like people have had these like disorders for forever. Like John Quincy Adams, who knows what he had? Like was he just buying fucking mead? Like too much, just buying over too much mead, or like just like bayonets? Like he was just a bayonet guy, like middle of the mall, like buying swords. This guy just has bayonets everywhere. I don't know how to spell that. I'm not putting that in the show notes. But thank you guys. You know the deal. I love you guys so much. Thank you for rocking with me. Do you guys like my phrases when I do like have a good one, or break the stigma by cracking a smile? What are some other things I say like repeatedly? Please let me know, because I think it's super funny when people boil you down to like the little, I do it. I fucking undress people, not like literally, but I undress people from like their little quips, like the way they talk. Like my big thing is if you don't have your feet towards the person, which I've heard, they're not really paying attention to you. Or especially if they go, that's crazy. You tell like a long story, they go, that's crazy. You're like, yeah, okay, pal, whatever. Then I also heard like $20 bills are bad luck. When I worked at CVS, the guy was like, can you give me 10s because $20 bills are bad luck? And ever since then, I don't really like $20 bills. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. Shoot somebody a text. Tell them you love them. Say what up. Again, if you want one of the Be Fulfilled journals, tell me one of my little ticks that I do, and I'll send you one for free. I think they're really beneficial. I know Lindsay's been using hers, I hope, and she's really liking it. But yeah, I got to start using it. I have fucking so many journals that I fucking get. Again, I gave up on them. Like, that's what I do, and it fucking drives me nuts. I fucking hate myself sometimes. I really do. But thank you guys so much. I love you so much. And you know what? Have a good one.
Get him. You can kiss my ass.
This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. If you are feeling suicidal, please dial 911.